and gentlemen, it is our 3 p.m. on Saturday. We bring to you practical topic. So practical, there are 457 people in Georgia would have benefited from watching what we're talking about today. Facing deportation or planning to leave U.S., how to protect wealth you built. So that is literally the million-dollar questions. And here and there, we see people are wondering. And you know what I'm talking about. And let's just get into it because it's a lot of talk. It is a lot of content, but we want to cover that conceptually. If you need more information related to specifics that we mentioned and talked about today, you can always contact Community CPA, and we're here to help you. All right, let's get going, ladies and gentlemen. Before we dive into the topic, we always hear trying to brag about, not really bragging, really just to tell you about Community CPA. So Community CPA is a bunch of 40-some people, professional, and we are, collectively, we speak 13 different languages. Just that alone, you can kind of imagine what kind of people we are. And a lot of, I don't know, maybe not all of us, but a lot of us are first generation of an immigrant. So we really understand wealth building. We understand the hardship when you started business. We also understand how important that is to keep the wealth in your family, to not lose it, right? But things happen, accident happen, deportation happen. So with all of these incidents, if that poses to your heart a question of, how am I going to protect it? This is why you are here. This webinar will give you the guidance. So here's our website, communitycpa.com. And you can come to our website to get to know us. Somewhere in this website, you're going to find our pictures, and you can also click appointment button to come to see us. You can click my appointment with me, then I'll come online and we can resolve issues. All right. The other things we want to talk about is the website on YouTube channel. It's called the Community CPA channel. If you come to this channel, you will see all of our webinars that we talked about. We started this channel back in 2020. So ever since then, we have been putting in about 4 videos each week. During the pandemic time, we were even more, but after pandemic, we kind of got into a rhythm, which is 4 videos a week. So you can imagine how many videos are in the back end, right? You can search our videos and listen to the content. Some of those tax content, like even the content I am talking about today, it won't go outdated. The situation might be different while you listen to my webinar, but the content itself, how to deal with situations like that, that would not be expiring, right? Whether you are sick, or you got into a car accident, or you get deported, or maybe you got stopped at custom and you don't even know what to do and you have to go back. Actually, so many years ago, my mother-in-law was stopped at Chicago airport, and she's Canadian. So she's coming to U.S. We have always, our kids were taken care of by our mother-in-law. So she came from Canada to Chicago airport, and the immigration officer thinks that she stayed with us for too long. Yes, she was with us for 14 years or something. So the immigration officer just decided that, no, you're not going to U.S. this time. You stayed there for too long. So she was sent back from Chicago airport to Toronto, Canada. So I understand. I still remember the screams I hear on the phone from my mother-in-law because she was just like so devastated. Thought she will see her grandchildren very fast, very soon, but ended up going back to Canada. Understand, okay? So much understanding, it is actually gets on my skin. So I really know when people get into that situation, what the circumstance means to you. This is why we want to bring that out today again to talk about deportation. If you know any of the 457 people in Georgia that is about to be deported, this video is very helpful because it teaches them what to do financially to take care of their wealth, and don't feel like, a deportation for invalid immigration status does not equals to you are a drug dealer. Please do not equal to that, because the government are not getting their hands to your finance. They are not. They're just validating your immigration status. Goes, you don't belong to here, your visa expired, you go home. But it's not anything about the money you have in U.S. So now let's get going, right? Let's get going. These are the 2 books I wrote, and I have 4 books, in the row I want to write, and I'm still doing the 2 p.m. So the 8 a.m. is to start your business in U.S., 10 a.m. is grow your business, then 2 p.m. is to expand your business, then 6 p.m. is retiring from your business. So that's kind of like the business journey, right? While I'm writing it, it's kind of simulating what I am doing in my own life. So each book has quite a bit of story of my own to give you an idea of how to start, how to grow, and how to expand, how to retire. I don't know how to retire yet, but let's just leave that book for the last. For right now, I just need to worry about the 2 p.m. No responsibility disclaimer. It is here to make a claim that you take responsibility of what you see here. Okay, so we do our research, we express our opinion, but our opinion can be a wrong one, right? Anybody is capable of making mistakes, but we have done our best to give you what we think is important for you. All right, I know I'm putting out pictures for you. This is the U.S. agents raid Hyundai LG site. So Hyundai LG site is a battery manufacturing. It's actually one of the biggest Georgia economic development plan they have right now. So they raided the factory. So on September 4th, detained 457, I guess, non-documented or illegal worker that day. So this is, I have a couple of things here which, I snatched it from different publications and a different website. So this has happened on September 4th, okay? U.S. authorities carried out an immigration raid at Hyundai battery plant construction site. The part of the Hyundai Motor Group, a meta plant near Savannah. So this is Georgia. Okay? And the authorities arrested 475 individuals and making this largest ever single site enforcement operation by Homeland Security investigations. The majority were South Korean nationals, which means their nationality is South Korean, and the immigration officials attribute the arrest to expired visa waiver status violation, or unlawful border crossing. So this is important. This is almost saying to you that those detainees, they are not drug dealers. They're not having criminal record like some of those deported due to the criminal record. But these people, they're arrested for visa-related violation. Okay, saying that, it is actually important to know the scale, to know the reason for that deportation. The operation, this is what I want folks to know. Yes, when the raid comes, it's a sudden matter. Nobody really prepared for it. It is a shock, right? A shock to the family. In the picture, you know that they even went into houses to knock on the doors to detain people. So this is a operation resulted from a month-long criminal investigation into suspected unlawful employment practice. Okay? Employment practice at construction site. So this is focused on the employer, focused on Hyundai Motor Group. All right. So this is a violation on hiring side of investigation. So with that, they got the search warrant. That's how they come up. Neither, this motor company and the LG Energy Solution, they directly employed those non-documented people through, hear this one, this is an important clue, because they did not hire them directly. They were getting those people from a network of subcontractors. So they're going into this subcontractor agency, get 5 people, 10 people, 20 people. So they are hiring from agency. What does that tell you? That tells you that the factory has no responsibility in terms of having I-9, W-4, and e-verifying. All of these employee-related verification is not really under their control because they hired it from another agency. So the company, the Hyundai Motor Company, LG Energy Solution, they're all very cooperative. They even said that, the ICE official said that both firms say they would cooperate fully. So this will be, for me, I am looking at this that a lot of large companies are doing that, folks. So if you happen to be a small workforce provider, okay, and a large company comes to you, goes, give me 37 people. Then you go around, search for people. If you get them undocumented, if you have them violating employment rule and regulation, you are the one, your neck is on the line. So I want to say this to our small business people because I know the people whose necks are on the line are not Hyundai Motor Company and not LG Energy Solution. These people, they are fine. The most problem they got is to delay the construction because they don't have 475 people right away. But the one whose necks are on the line maybe will be charged criminally or maybe even be deported away from U.S. are the one who supplied the people to the factory. So the South Korean government expressed concerns and regret, calling the detainment of their nationals and investors unacceptable. So the South Korean government knows that these 475 people, some of them are investors, okay? And some of them are their nationals. So they consider the event as unfortunate, regretful, and also very concerned. So they send their diplomats to their officials from Washington and from Atlanta to go on Savannah to assist the situation. So what kind of assistance? I couldn't really imagine right now, but I think it's gonna come through. The people will be deported because they don't have status to work here, and the agency who supplied them to the General Motor, to Hyundai Motor Group, and also LG Energy Solution, they will be penalized. So what does the raid means? And a historical scale means that it's just very big. It's the biggest one in history on one location. Normally, if they raid one location, they got 10 20, but 475, that's a huge amount. 475 will fill up this exhibit hall, and you will see mountain people, mountain sea equals to 475 is a lot of people. The battery plant is part of the 7.6 billion Met Plant campus, being regarded as Georgia's biggest ever economic development deal. Construction now stopped, right? The operation really strains the U.S.-South Korea relationship right now. This is a sensitive time, and especially during this time, the tariff tax is still in negotiating, and the investment deals are still in the making. So it just winkles, right? And no criminal charges. Okay, listen to this. So on the legal side of it, no criminal charges has been filed, right? The detainees, those people who got caught, are held based on immigration violation, are being processed individually. They're not in jail or anything, all right? They are just needing to be processed. Might be a lot of people take time to process, but individually processed. So the window of opportunities is right here for these folks who are being identified, need to go back to South Korea. And there is no specific public timeline given for how long these detainees have before they must leave U.S. So there's no public time available for those get caught. Let's just say the one that they captured, right? However, the immigration law typically involves administrative processing, which run different in length. Some people, especially those who entered on visa, waivers, or those visa has just simply expired, and might have a period of time to resolve their issues, or even restate their visa, or they would have time to resolve their finance affairs before they leave. So this is a window of opportunity, and you're not criminally charged. You have time to do something. The situation is subject to ICE enforcement protocols and may involve expedited removal depending on the individual cases. So it is the ICE that decide on what happened to you individually. So you would have to work through the process. South Korea officials are on site. They have expressed concerns, but they're there to help. So you want to make sure they're there to make sure your right is being protected. So make sure that you are in touch with your embassies and people like that. Make sure you are going through proper protocols to end your stay in U.S. So here I want to give you an idea, and this is actually was a slide we got, we gathered from the White House publication. So in terms of what are the immigration rate target, this is even before the OBBBA allocated so much money to ICE. This is before that. So they already knew that in agriculture, that's what they are focusing on, to bring immigration rates to agriculture, to construction. So there you go, right? The battery plant is construction, and the restaurant, hospitality, hotel, manufacturing, child care center. Those are focus that the U.S. government, the immigration, the ICE has on their high priority list to conduct raids. So they, when they come to raid a place, what they do is for employer, of course the raid is subject to the employer, to the business owner. You need to produce information, show to the ICE that these people you hired are properly have proper work status, right? So what are the documentation they're looking for? I-9 is one documentation. W-4 Yeah, documentation. Payroll ledger, they want to see your payroll ledger. So when they walk into your workplace, they're not going to be, totally unprepared. They already look at your payroll because you report that to the government every quarter, right? They already look at your payroll. They already maybe got some report from somebody knowing who is who. So when they come, they just want to ensure that everyone you hire, it has authorization to work. I know what the small business owners are thinking. I know how difficult that is for you to work the work just by yourself and you don't have money to hire anybody, or you hire someone who works so well for you, but this person may not have status. Okay? All of that is no need to decorate, is the reality at the bottom of the food chain. Okay? So the large companies, they may not have that issue. But now after this raid happened, I think the large company has the same issue, right? They're short of labor, so what do? They don't run payroll and they go to other agencies and getting people from them. So if those people are non-documented, their neck is on the line, but not the large companies. How clever. How clever. That is how the system is right now. So I just want folks to understand, whether you are the large company CEO listening to this, or you are the small little potatoes on the bottom of the food chain and making little monies and trying to get the people to work for the large company, and you know that you have to have your I-9, your W-4, everything put together. You cannot hire people without work permit. Just very simple. Okay. With that said, these are the category of, industries that would be rated easily. So let's look what I want to convey to all of you if that happened and you're about to be deported. As long as you're not criminally investigated, here is the path you can take. All right, for business owners, say you are a business owner and you're facing deportation, right? Who knows? Maybe you are one of these contractors and hired so many people below you and are working for Hyundai Motor Group. Okay, so you're a business owner. You get paid from Hyundai Motor Group on 1099. And so you report your income, then you reduce your income by all of these people you hire, but all of the people you hire and they don't have a documentation. They're the number part of the 475 people. Maybe. I don't know. So I'm imagining. So, but if you are a business owner, you want to prepare for compliance with the employment laws. So here is I-9. Employer must ensure that all work authorization documents are valid and up to date. Employers are responsible for verifying verifying the truthfulness of the documents provided by the employee, such as social security number, tax identification number, passport, birth certificate. If you're not sure, you need to seek professional help, right? So W-4 is also another document the employer needs to have. The employee must provide a signed W-4 to receive their paycheck. Of course, if you hire contractors, you need to have W-7, right? These are all of the business owner's responsibility. So if you could get these things in place, done properly, you'll be okay. So at our firm, we provide a payroll compliance review service for business owners who are a little bit uneasy. If you're not comfortable with where you are, not sure whether you are in compliance or not in compliance, wanting to make sure that one ICE rated your shop and you can pass that easily. If that is what you can do, you want to do, you can hire a community CPA to do that compliance review for you. So you want to, other than the W-9, the I-9, the W-4, the W-7 we just talked about. You also want to organize your employee record, right? Maintain accurate and organized record of all of your employees, past and current. That includes the work authorization paper to make sure that you actually can deal with the audit properly. And we always say that how sometimes, business owner got busy and your employee actually already changed their status from green card holder to be a citizen. They already become a U.S. citizen, but your record are still old. So those are the things the business owner are not very good at doing. So you want to make sure you're regular doing that audit. So when I say regular, you really don't need to put on your calendar goals, okay, I block on this day, I'm gonna regularly do my compliance. You just need to, work with your payroll agency. So if you do your payroll with community CPA, then you just put in one more request. Every year, please audit all of my profiles, employee profiles, make sure everything is good, right? Then develop a clear response plan for potential raid or audit. What if tomorrow raid comes, and what do you do? So what are the plan you have? Say the raid come, and even though you think your 50 employees are all properly documented, but they turn out to be all undocumented. I'm exaggerating. But what do you do when that happens? Cut your workforce into half, like Hyundai just shut down the plant for now, temporarily. So those are the things, trust me, if you think about that in your head, and if you plan that as a part of the things you do, when that really happened to you, it reduces the shock by so much, and you will be feeling like you have done the right thing for getting yourself ready. This is the process, right? Just like IRS audit people, right? So it's a part of business development here in U.S. So it is no right or wrong. And even if you say it's wrong, so what? It doesn't matter. Right now, what matters is to know how to deal with your small world and be more prepared, right? When that happens and you have a better handle on things and you are doing the right thing, that's the important, right? All right, that's for business owner. But for those soon-to-be deportees, well, if you know you're going to be deported, and you're going to leave the country, then what do you do, right? So we want to talk about this. So, if a deportee is not a criminal, then the assets generally are not taken over by the government. The government would only deport you because immigration violation. It's not because you were drug dealing, right? For non-criminal immigration violation, assets such like a bank account, your home, your vehicle, and other business properties are typically not subject to automatic seizure and a forfeiture. So you don't need to worry about they froze your bank account and they took your deed, then you lose everything, right? The only case I have seen in the past, they took the house ownership, they seized their bank account, is all criminally related. So with the violation in immigration status, it's called a non-criminal immigration violation. Those do not take your asset away. The U.S. government can seize and forfeit your property primarily when it is linked to criminal activity, including immigration-related criminal activity, such as smuggling people in and out, or if the property was used to facilitate illegal act, right? So, if you hear our webinars, you heard that there are raid happened to the restaurant owners, then charged 10-year sentence because they are harboring illegal immigrant. The definition of harboring illegal immigrant is not only they hire them, which is a practice is wrong, they should not hire people without work permit, but they also provide room and board for these people. So when you do it that way, you're harboring illegal immigrant, then it's criminal charge. So this is where that line can be drawn, right? And for non-criminal immigration violation, then don't worry about that, and your asset is still safe. Asset protection is still needed, though, even though you say, okay, I got deported, but my bank account is still there. You still need to do that. It is a strategic process of organizing and your personal business asset in the way to shield them from accident, from things that you don't predict, right? So those protection is still needed, but the asset protection is not hiding. You literally can't hide anything, right? If they really do investigation for you, if people can hide, I think President Trump will hide the 6 bankruptcies that he filed because it just doesn't look that great. So you can't hide. So asset protection is also not hiding. It is just logically protecting your asset from being misused or from being mistaken by, different reasons, right? So that is what we mean by asset protection. So if you own a business, the asset protection takes a very good 6 steps, right? So your business need to survive. If you have a business and you are soon to be deported, then you want to make sure that your business is still continue. Of course, you could say that, no, I'm just going to sell my business and I'm leaving. That's fine too. But you still have to find a buyer, right, before you sell. The buyer still have to continue your business, am I right? Unless you want to just shut down and walk away, that is obviously possible. But I want to say that even if you shut it down and walk away, your last year tax return here in U.S. and you can still take advantage of that shutdown. There is a losses that you experience can be offsetting some of your income on your tax return. So, your last tax return, right now we're in the month of September. If you just got detained, you probably go home at the end of this year, right? So this year, you're still going to file 1040 regular tax return. Then the losses you have in business can still come in to help you reduce your tax liability. So hopefully, the last year of U.S. staying would not cost you any taxes because you closed down your business, right? So there's 6 items I listed here. I call that 6 key steps to consider if you are soon to be deported or you're soon to die, when nobody can really predict die, right? So, but it's soon to have something happen to you. How about that? Okay, so business structure. And to make a long reasoning short, on the business structure side is number 1. If you are the soon to be deported and you want to make your business structure a C corporation. Nothing else. C corporation. If you're LLC, change to C. If you're S corporation, revert it back to C. So you want yourself to be a C corporation. That you can do. Even if you are in Korea, you can still do that as long as you give proper authorization to your handler, your CPA firm people, or even your brother-in-law, whoever, right? So you want to make sure that you convert structure. Then you also want to restructure the ownership. So maybe your business is running so well and your son is helping you already in the business. Now facing your son is born in U.S., so I don't think he will be deported. But you will be deported because you overstayed your visa. Then maybe it is time right now to restructure the ownership. Give that some ownership to your son so that way he can still operate the business and he can still open bank account and to sign your checks and work with you. So, your son just has to go back to Korea to visit you more often. Now you're not in town, right? So, the traveling, the world has become so small. And in the past, when I was little, and I remember, my father was, sent somewhere in China to he's an anti-revolutionary, so he was sent somewhere to become better. It's like what do you call those places? It's like a camp. So then the only connections we have with our father is letter. And the letter normally takes about a month and a half. So whatever our father sent to us is a month and a half before, and then whatever we wrote to him is a month and a half later. So I remember getting his letter. He's already home. So I'm just like, maybe you read your letter to me instead of we read it, because he's already home. So the transportation, the communication nowadays becomes so convenient, folks. From that aspect, there is not much of thing to stop you from continuing running your business and to continue doing your business no matter which corner you are at on the globe. You can still do. The only thing is that you want to give your son or someone who runs your business part of the ownership so they can operate it as if their own. And also when they go to the bank to open up bank account or to add the signature into the bank account, the bank requires partial ownership in there normally. So with that said, you just want to, before you go, to set yourself up to continue to run the business. Don't just give it away. Don't just shut it down. And I know there's a lot of fear going through RAID, but just calm down. I mean, think about economic methodologies and how to deal with it, and don't let politics, don't let anything affecting you. It's all waste your time. What really, really important is right now you have an opportunity. You have a window of opportunity to get everything set up so you can go home and go back to Korea and know that you can still do the same thing. The business management, and needless to say, you need to cultivate a trustworthy person to rely on that trustworthiness and have this person run your business. And then compensation. You are the owner. You made the company. So you still going to be paid. There's so many ways to pay you. You don't even need to worry. The only thing I want you to worry to make sure you have money, and then you can pay yourself. There's so many ways, like I said, to pay you. And to give you an example, and the company can reimburse you for the expenses you have in South Korea. Right? So you're probably going to go back to South Korea, set up a home office or whatever. The company can reimburse you for your expenses. And what else? Company can pay you for your service. And the company can make distribution to you. I mean, I wouldn't use the word of distribution. I would say dividend. The company can give you dividend. Then you can report. You can report 1040-NR and the filing non-residence return. Man, life will be as good, okay? And the business tax, and always file it correctly and timely. Let your U.S. accountant handle your business. If you don't have a U.S. accountant, come to Community CPA. We understand what people need to do. We're very customized working with the international population because we have been doing that for the last 30 years. It's not because everybody get deported, now we have a job. No, we always knew what to do and in those situations. So it is no-brainer for us. It is a regular business for us. So you can be comfortable that we know what needs to be done, right? So now if you are a soon-to-be deportee and you are a business owner, you have these 6 steps to work on. But what if you are just an employee and then you say, well, now what do I do? So the right to your asset remain the same. So that's a very key concept I want to give to our folks. And don't get overly panicked unnecessarily, okay? If your immigration status changes, face deportation, visa termination, your assets are not automatically seized. No. You remain ownership of your own property, your bank account, regardless of your immigration status. Of course, the bank account, maybe you set up bank account with a social security number. At that time, you had a proper status. Now you don't. Your bank account really should be updated to be a foreigner-owned bank account. So your bank will withhold your interest income by percentage because you supposedly to file 1040 NR to get the tax credit back, to get the tax withheld back. It is important to note that while your ownership rights generally remain intact, your ability to manage or access your asset may be affected by your physical presence not in the country. So make sure that the asset you maintain in U.S. Would have a access to you while you are outside of U.S. Right? So that's really something you want to consider. What if I'm not in the country and what I need to do and how to maintain that access to your property. So now we have two tools to give you so you can have that access to your asset. Number one, power of attorney. In case of deportation order, you have no time left to do anything, do POA. Choose a right type of POA to do. You can do multiple POAs, right? And you can select a trustworthy agent. Person has to be 18 years or older to carry out the POA. And determine the area of authority. Like if you sign a POA with community CPA via a form called 2848, that form would give authority over your tax matters. So you want to make sure that you sign all kind of POA if you need it and determine the scope of authority and decide when the POA become effective. If you are not deported yet, soon to be, and maybe you put your POA effective to later date, but of course you can do that right now. You need to sign, okay, to notarize. So within that within that open window time, just make sure you get this done, okay? And you can even do a POA online, and just to make sure that you select the state where you lived. So that's important. Let's say if your property is all in Atlanta, and you want to, your POA need to be more specific for that area, right? So you don't want to sign a Iowa POA, and that will not work for you in Atlanta. So the type of POA, what I can think of is general power of POA. You can sign something really general, maybe to your sister-in-law or someone like that. And you can also sign a limited power of attorney, limited POA, just focus on one area. Help me sell this house, POA, right? You can do that. Medical POA, help me make decision for my mother-in-law who is critically ill. Now I have to be deported. So that kind of medical POA. Child POA, maybe you have children, they're Americans, but you're not. And who can take care of those kids, right? And the real estate POA, tax POA, your tax accountant, and your vehicle POA, who will sell your vehicles, and your financial matter POA, right? So those are the type of POAs you can think of. Then, other than POA is a tool, another useful tool is ITIN. ITIN is Individual Taxpayer Identification Number, abbreviated ITIN. That can receive by individual who need a U.S. identification but cannot get a social security number. Okay, so ITIN is issued regardless of immigration status and serve only for federal tax reporting purposes, not for work authorization or eligibility of Social Security benefits. So not for that. ITIN is just for business matter. You have income from U.S., you need ITIN. You're receiving interest income from your bank. I'm pretty sure your bank asks you for the ITIN. So here are a list of 5 things that people get ITIN. Non-resident aliens who are required to file U.S. tax return. You are a non-resident alien and you come in, you worked. You worked for someone. Yeah, you don't have work authorization, but you worked. You got money. Then you need to file U.S. tax return because you're a bona fide resident. You actually live here. Resident alien who meet substantial present test and are lawful permanent resident but do not qualify for a social security number, those people in between of immigration status, right? Dependent or spouse who are foreign, who are residents, aliens, or foreigners. Dependent spouse, visa holders. Those are needing IT number. Tax filers who lived abroad and have a U.S. tax filing or reporting requirement, then you got IT number. So these are IT number usage. So if you were about to be deported and I don't know, let's say you were using a wrong social security number. Now, because you're going back home, you want to use your actual identity, set up IT number properly, then replace all of the things you have in US with the proper IT number. So those are the things you really need to do to make sure that you are in compliance with the rules and regulations here in US. So apply for ITIN. You use W7 to do it. And we have a video online where you can actually go to learn how to do it yourself. And our firm is a authorized issuing agent for IRS. So we, if you do ITIN application with us, we go through certain procedures, and you do not need to send your passport or your ID, original document, to IRS. So we are the one will keep that for IRS, so you can do it locally. So with that said, and I showed you this a little picture, you can look for it, ITIN application, you can learn from there, all right? So that would help you to get your ITIN going. Of course, everybody's story is different. I always say that when you are in a kind of pickle, your gut will tell you what to do. I'm pretty sure we are not the only resources you're seeking or listening to, but with all of the knowledge you collected on the cloud, and you can actually follow your instinct. And I really do believe all of us are guided by this universe energies. So you find someone you can trust. You find someone that can handle your situation while you're not here, customize your approach. Maybe, yes, you have a visa violation, but you probably really qualify to apply for L1 visa. You just qualify, but you just didn't know anything about that because the only thing you know is you got busy and the visa expired, you don't know what to do, and you never really made inquiry to it. So, the immigration in US is still working, folks. If you put in proper application to be a business owner in US for your American dream, the R1 visa is being approved every day. So there are ways to get yourself in this business world properly instead of doing it wrong. So I know it is a lot of wrong with history, so to turn that around is a lot of tears, a lot of blood, a lot of controversy. Understandable. But come down to your own matter. You want to take all your emotions, take the political opinions away, and just focus on what you can do to continue running your business, to continue holding onto your wealth. And whether you are here in US or not, it is still yours. And you can figure out a way later to come back and to continue what you want to continue. As long as the confidence of economy is here, and we are doing better as a country instead of we're going down as a country. So with that said, I want to say that, find your trustworthy professional service provider like Community CPA. And you know who we are. I'm pretty sure this is not the only videos you watch, so you know who I am. I am very easy to be understood because I don't speak complicated English language, and I am second English is my second language, so I speak halfway Chinglish. Um, but my head is as clear as everybody else. We know what we are working with. We know what we are doing. And our focus is on your interest. We want to help immigrant business owners. We want to help the immigrants here in the country to still have that American dream. All right, so let's conclude. Let's conclude. For South Korean workers at Hyundai battery factory facing deportation or planning to leave US, know that wealth you earned in US is still yours. You are not in danger of losing your house, your car, and your bank savings. No. Before you leave the country, sign power of attorney. Delegate it to your attorney or your CPA or your friends so they can help you in your absence. The POA gives the authorization for others to act on your behalf. Apply for I-18 if you don't have one. Especially while you have this window of time, you're still in US, seek help from local communities. You're not alone. For business owners who are facing deportation or plan to leave US, update your US business structure to C Corp and provide business bank account access to someone you trust. The rest will fall in place for you while remotely operating your business. And you definitely can continue the American dream while being remote. That will continue. Now, let's see if you want to talk to me or our other partners. Here is the website. You go to Community CPA, you click on the appointment, you will see us. You can set a time with us. And this is our last slide, and our website address, our YouTube address, our email, Catherine@communitycpa.com. She's our ear and hear you. So you can send her email, goes, I want to hear this webinar. We will prepare for you, okay? So that number, 515-288-3188, is your phone number. It is the phone number that you can call us. We open 6 days a week, all year long, not just during tax time. So when you call us today on Saturday, it's our working day. We have folks in our branches, so you can always contact us on Saturday. If Monday to Friday you're too busy for Hyundai Motor Group's job, then you can call us on Saturday. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.